Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Press for Truth TV. I hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in once again. Today, we're going to be speaking with Robert Wanek, who is an activist based out of the States. He's a very dedicated, patriotic individual who has been involved in the fight against the New World Order for years now, which in and of itself is very impressive considering Robert is only 18 years old. He's been inspiring a whole new generation of people to get involved in the fight. Um, so, Robert, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on here at Press for Truth TV.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing me on.
All right, man. So, for some of the viewers here who may not be familiar with your work, why don't you just start us off with a little bit about how you got involved in this movement in the first place? How old were you when you had your moment of awakening, I guess we could call it, and what made you want to get involved in the truth movement?
Well, I was a freshman in high school. I was 14 years old when I guess my awakening occurred. We were watching 9/11 documentaries on the physics of 9/11 and listening to teacher lectures and whatnot, and I didn't find any of the mainstream arguments very logical. So I began speaking out against that, and right away I received lots of persecution from the student body and the faculty. And the persecution from the faculty resulted in a lot of suspensions and detentions and even lowering my grades and whatnot. But after a while, that took me into the whole Ron Paul issue and liberty and freedom and the Constitution. And that's when I found a support network of like minded people on the internet with groups like We Are Change, Press for Truth, InfoWars, all these grassroots organizations. And that's when, the persecution didn't really matter. I started building a support group on YouTube. And, and eventually, it led to my principal at my high school resigning over many controversies of corruption.
Yeah, well, you had the courage to take on the system. A lot of students deal with a lot of the things that you've gone through who just simply don't have the courage or the know-how to stand up and fight it and raise awareness about it. And you did a great job at that. And also, you've been raising a lot of awareness about police brutality, corruption, even some health issues with the vaccines and whatnot. So tell us a little bit about what it's been like for you working with groups like We Are Change, especially in raising awareness about all these various issues.
Well, We Are Change happens to have an excellent Minnesota chapter. Most of the guys are stationed up in the larger populated areas. I'm right on the North Dakota border, but I'm also less than an hour away from Fargo, North Dakota. And the biggest issue that's been happening here is the evolving police state in Fargo, North Dakota. Since 2005, they've averaged less than 2 homicides a year, and they haven't had any terrorism prosecutions whatsoever. But they've spent over 8 million in DHS funds for an armored vehicle with a tank-style turret and UAV drones, and now a whole CCTV-style camera apparatus for the downtown area. So, so it's really becoming a police state in rural Minnesota and North Dakota, and and working with We Are Change is great because I get to go up to the cities and see what's going on up there too, and it's pretty much the same thing that's happening in the grassroots areas.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And speaking about the grassroots movements really taking off and people getting more involved in this. What do you think about? I know you follow Ron Paul quite a bit, and what do you think about the tremendous success he's been having lately? What's your take on the whole Ron Paul phenomenon?
Well, I think it's excellent because the Ron Paul supporters usually see interventionism as the main problem, and he's been able to revitalize a whole new wing of the Republican Party, not just to collect mainstream hawkish votes, but he has his own devoted wing, and it will one day be the mainstream of the Republican Party. So I think what he's doing is excellent because in 15, 20, 25 years, I think that we'll have a majority of Republicans calling themselves Ron Paul Republicans. So it's nice to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've been doing a great job at spreading the word about what's going on with him as well. So keep that up. Is there anything you're currently working on? And why don't you tell people about your YouTube channel and where they can find more information from you?
Um, In 2007 up to 2010, I produced videos, multiple times a week, and a lot of them were reports about Breckenridge High School and the injustice there. Well, when I attended a vaccine clinic, I was handing out vaccine inserts and speaking with students. I was assaulted by faculty at my high school. So I immediately went to this support network, these liberty activists on the internet, including groups like We Are Change and Press for Truth, and I tried to spread this story. So it got over 30,000 views in a day, and then it just started skyrocketing. And the reaction the school took was legal action. The teacher who assaulted me, who I still cannot name, filed a restraining order on me, and I realized what the problems really were in the judicial system because a restraining order was slapped on me, and I have a gag order on me right now. So I haven't been making very many videos for the last couple of years. So what I'm working on now is a report on what happened then and more stuff that's happening at Breckenridge High School. And I'm probably going to release that in May when my restraining order is lifted. So it's really been a hassle on writing any articles, doing any kind of reporting because um, there's a lot of stuff that's going on at Breckenridge High School here, and I just can't even cover any of it.
Yeah, well, I look forward to your updates and your reports about that, and I know a lot of other people are looking forward to hearing what's going on with that as well. I know not too long ago, you were had a video that went pretty viral for filming a police officer who came right over to you and gave you a hard time when you were just standing in a public place filming a public servant. Why don't you tell people about what happened there?
Well, Wapton, North Dakota is the town that borders Breckenridge, where I live, and they have a large narcotics agency called SEMCA. And one of their former agents is now the canine unit officer on the Wapton Police Department. And he practices a lot of unwarranted raids. And I've gotten a lot of reports of corruption and, police overreach of their authority involving this canine unit officer. So I went to question him about these unwarranted raids, and I stood about 20 feet away from the station on a public sidewalk while he was having a conversation with one of his friends. And when I told him what I was covering and who I was covering it for, he immediately arrested me and said that I was hindering some sort of investigation. And the good thing that came of this was the local news jumped on it. And although they attempted to demonize me as a 9/11 conspiracy theorist and all of these tags, um, people started opposing the police department's actions, and the officer was given a 5-day suspension.
Well, that's why it's always so important to do the kind of things that you were doing, and it's always good to have a camera on us so we can hold these officials accountable, especially when they're acting in the manner that he did. So I'm glad to hear that that all ended up working out for you. So, anyways, Robert, thanks so much for speaking with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you're doing a great job, man. So keep up the great work, and I'll hope to have you on again sometime soon.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me on. We'll definitely have to stay in touch.
Cool, man. All right, everyone, that was Robert Wanek. Be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description and check out his website, robertwanekreports.com. He's a very inspiring individual, and he's waking up a lot of people in a whole new young generation of people. So it's fantastic. So that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you back here tomorrow on Press for Truth TV. Take care.